Hello. Welcome to
Green.
Talks. We're having some technical difficulties, but we're finally live. So I hope you are all still here.
So do I get a color too?
A color?
Because you're yellow, do I get to be like green or something?
Oh, you can. Yeah. Because I said yellow instead of hello.
All right, I'm sharing this to all the AE folk here. 1 second.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm here this week with Danny Raede from Asperger Experts. Yeah, and so I think I titled it Deviation from the Norm. If I didn't do that correctly, it's just
I think you labeled it properly, so it's good.
okay. Because it's not showing the title at the top anymore.
Yeah, I just shared it on Facebook and saw the title, but
Okay.
Facebook is just not having fun with the technical difficulties today,
Yeah.
but we'll get through it.
Autism we have all those services I talk about every week. We have support group, meditation, movie night, game night, all that fun stuff. So go sign up for that at autism.com. Last week we talked about foreplay and parenting and development and all that fun stuff. I think next week Melanie's coming back. We're going to talk about meditation. So come every Wednesday at 7 Pacific Standard Time and check out Starlight Talks. I always talk about something related to autism with some really cool guests. And so this is Danny Raede. If you guys remember him, he's been on a few times.
So I have a question. How do the movie nights work? Do you just like all get on Zoom and one little Zoom box is a movie?
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Well, we put that one full screen and and then we have like a chat up and we talk about it. And some nights are more talkative than other. I think Little Woman was like the most talkative, where everyone was like, I'm a Beth, or I'm an Amy, or I'm a
What movie was this?
Little Woman.
Little Women. Okay. I don't know if I'm a Beth or an Amy, I guess. I haven't seen it.
Hi, Molly.
Hi, Molly. Anyway, so let's actually get to tonight's subject, shall we? I actually proposed deviation from expected norms, not in terms of like, you're not able to read when we think you should, but just like, hey, what happens if you make different life choices that aren't what people normally make as life choices, or you just live a certain way and they aren't necessarily choices? And I think that's something that goes for both of us, because it is not normal for someone to spend the entirety of their 20s locked away in their apartment writing and teaching people about Asperger's.
That's true.
So,
we have a lot of things, both of us, that are not, that we were born with that was not in the norm. Like one of them being autism.
That is true as well.
I also I don't have a sense of smell, which a lot of people think is really interesting about me. My lack of ability to smell things.
Do they always like shove stuff? Here, smell this.
Oh my God, all the time. Like, oh, well, but can you smell this? Oh, but can you smell this? Like, I can
smell my feet.
And people forget. I'm like, oh, you should smell this. It smells really good. I'm like, oh, yeah, I can just magically smell today.
Yeah, just taste it, I guess. Does that mean that you don't taste much either?
I asked if it affects my taste, but like I didn't have before I could smell, and now I can't. Like everything's tasted the same my entire life.
But what
so
I mean is,
I don't know.
So like you know what flavor is though, right? Like you have, oh, this tastes good, and it's not just a texture thing.
Yes, yeah, for sure. I have flavor. Like I definitely know that like lemons are sour. But I think like that gives me like this ability to eat lemons like they're like an orange.
I mean, that's just kind of weird anyway.
But I can just
Just like peel a lemon and just start eating it.
To me as they are to other people. I think like I can have like, some of that kind of palate, but like they've always tasted that way to me. So
hey, whatever. For me, it's my smell turns on and off, and I won't know if it turns off, and then randomly I'll be walking down the street and it'll turn on and be like, oh yeah, that's a thing, isn't it? I remember that. It's been years.
Yeah, I heard that's a thing with autism. It can do that too. And so when I was in defense mode, my mom was like, yeah, I heard that like some people when they come out of defense mode, their sensations come back. So we thought maybe it would come back. It didn't. But like my grandpa was the same way. Like he couldn't smell. So it's probably more an inherited thing.
Yeah, maybe it's some weird genetic.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Maybe I just don't have enough nose hairs. I don't know.
I don't know the intricacies of how smell works. On my end, like, I did everything in the wrong order. Like, once I was 18, it was like, okay, let's go to college, not finish college, start a business, move to Seattle, don't have any friends or pursue a girlfriend or any relationships or anything like that. Sit down and work a lot, and then get a boat. Don't know how to drive a car, know how to drive a boat. And then, like, you know, be really good at doing work and getting an apartment and things like that. And now when you're almost 30, finally start to learn how to drive. And, like, then start to go be out and be social and, like, go to social events and make friends and things. It's like, that's not the order that people normally do that in.
No.
And yet here I am, and I do me, and, you know, that's just what's going to happen. And in my free time, I go to Walt Disney World way too much, and when it's not, you know, closed because of coronavirus, and, like, that is my life, and you either accept that about me, or you don't, and you think I'm weird. And to be honest, you're probably accurate, because if we're going to judge weird by not in the norm, it's like, yeah, that is a correct statement.
Yeah, there was this YouTuber I watched when I was little, and like something, I think it was a joke, but it like kind of stuck with me and my sister as a motto, that like weird people are the sprinkles on top of like the awful bland sticky vanilla ice cream. And so we sort of stuck to that, where like everyone's like, you know, this sprinkle, and they're all different, and they're different colors, and they're different shapes, and, you know, like they're just, you know, some people stand out, and
some of them are the really fat, weird sprinkles that are like the defects from the factory, but are still awesome in their amazing way.
Yeah. And so like we came up, like we would like say like stay a sprinkle and like stuff like that when we did things that were like different. People were like, oh, that's weird. We're like, no, we're a sprinkle.
Well, I think that, you know, for everyone that's watching here, there's so much fear around not doing things in the right order.
Yeah.
Or like, are you sure you want to do that? Not many people do that. That's different. And, you know, it takes a while for my parents anyway to kind of get used to the fact that I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and it's going to be weird and different. And you might call me up on a Tuesday and say, you know, hey, you want to go to dinner later this week? And then, yeah. And you call me up later this week and go, hey, you want to go to dinner? I'll be like, sorry, I'm in Japan. It's like, why are you in Japan? Because I wanted to go to Japan. Yeah. Okay. And that's, you know, obviously that can't happen right now, but that's kind of indicative of my personality. Like, things occur, and I'm weird like that. And you kind of just need to get used to it and split out the fear-causing stuff of, oh no, this is bad, and just they're just going to be eccentric and different and know way too much about trains or the baking process of Skittles or Disney World or cooking or whatever.
Yeah, and like there is a lot of fear around like doing things different for school and that kind of stuff. And like I had some friends who are homeschooled, and like that stuff seems so awesome. I wish I had gone down that path. Like there's so many like different paths to things, and I feel like so much of life they like people only tell you one thing is like next step, when there's like there's lots. There's endless possibilities of what actually could possibly be next. And why aren't those options just like readily available? And like with autism, like I've always like chosen things that I guess like are out of the norm that never seemed out of the norm to me till people pointed it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like there's other choices. It doesn't mean it's bad because no one else is doing it at the time.
It's funny, you look at humanity as kind of in this very narrow band of you need to go to college, then you need to get a job, and then you need to work at your job 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and have weekends and get married by the time you're 30 and have kids and make sure your kids do really well, etc. There's like this whole like path laid out, right? And then when you don't do any of that, I think it's becoming more common now as people do weird things for a career, like YouTuber. Because that can be one of any number of things. But it's still kind of concerning for a lot of people that they aren't hitting all the tick boxes. Hey, Benji. That's her dog.
It's the same toy he chews every live stream. Yeah. I mean, I still remember wanting like breakfast food for dinner, and my parents being like, "That's breakfast food. You should have dinner food." And I'm like, I mean, no, there was a time of day for only certain foods. I feel like pancakes right now. Why can't I have pancakes?
I've done that. I've gotten pancakes for dinner, and I've also attempted to have dinner for breakfast just to see how would I feel. Like, what would happen if you had, like, I don't know, fried chicken and mashed potatoes for breakfast? And the answer is it doesn't really work. That one's kind of a no for me. But yeah, I'll totally have like waffles for dinner sometimes just because I'm an adult and I can do what I want.
Yeah. And like especially as a kid, like I feel like I like just craved things that my body needed. So I'd be like I'm just gonna eat this for 3 weeks straight. Yeah. So I ate it every single meal. So it's like I want banana pancakes every day for every meal.
Okay.
And my parents like, well, I mean, you can have it every day for breakfast, but do you really want it for dinner? I'm like, yes.
I just told you that.
Why are you questioning this?
And the funny thing is when you look at the science, there's a great experiment. I forget the name of it, but they took a whole bunch of really young kids, like under 5, and put them in front of this like giant buffet that has like, you know, all sorts of dinner foods, you know, roast chicken and carrots and mashed potatoes and steak and what have you, but it also has donuts and chips and just a wide variety of things. And they literally let them eat whatever for like 3 weeks and with 0 restrictions. And what they found is that while, you know, little Johnny might eat donuts straight for 2 days in a row and nothing but donuts, then he might switch to like only eating broccoli for a day. And then he might switch to like just chicken or beans or like, it turns out that over the course of a month, they were getting all the nutrition that they needed. They were just doing it in a really weird way of like, I will only eat this one thing for 3 days. And it might be like dry pasta. I don't know. Like,
I remember doing that kind of thing. Like we would have like everything laid out for dinner, and I'd just be eating vegetables that like for a couple of days.
Yeah.
And then after that, I didn't eat vegetables, and people like were like, "You need to eat your vegetables." And I'm like, I can't eat any more vegetables. I ate so many vegetables.
There are times even today where it's like tacos, or, you know, I just eat so many things in a row, and then I'll like switch to do another thing. Like for many years, one of my rotated out breakfasts was Greek yogurt and granola. And then I just stopped and haven't had it in like 4 years. And then now today I picked up some Greek yogurt again because I'm like, I want some Greek yogurt and granola again.
Yeah.
So I'm going to eat that. And yeah, I'm on the big blueberry waffle kick right now as well. But these things change. And I think that the main thing related to Asperger's above all the other things is we're not normal. We aren't going to do the normal things. The more that causes you anxiety, the more problems you're going to have as a parent.
Mm-hmm.
The more you just kind of accept that and go, well, I guess they're just eating broccoli today, just raw broccoli direct from the fridge. Or you walk in, they're just gnawing on a giant head of cauliflower and just, all right.
Like, I ate just like bell peppers for like a month. Like that was all I wanted to eat. Like I do remember that. That was actually pretty recent. And my dad, so we would go to the store and buy them. I'm like, they come in yellow. Why are you not just buying the yellow ones? Now I have to eat red ones and I have to eat green ones. Just buy the yellow ones.
I think other than food, though, it's kind of the same way of like, they only want to do one thing on the computer for a month.
Oh, yeah.
Or they only want to, like, they're really hyper interested in this one subject and just that's all they talk about and they don't shut up about it ever. Or, again, like, I did not learn to drive until a few months ago. However, I learned to drive a boat when I was like 23. So, okay, I'm a strange child. I was traveling in Europe last summer with a friend and decided to do a really weird photo project where I would take a picture of a pigeon in every country I went to because we were going to the UK, the Netherlands, France, Portugal, Morocco, and Spain. So there's a lot of places to visit. So I took a picture of a pigeon in every country, simply so that when anybody asks, hey, can I see pictures of your trip? I'd go, yeah. And I go, here's a Moroccan pigeon, and here's a French pigeon, and here's a British pigeon. And I text my dad that. He goes, you are a strange child. And I go, yes, I know.
Well,
and you just kind of
me with like yellow things. Like I like take pictures like in front of yellow things, or like taking pictures of like yellow flowers wherever I go. That kind of stuff.
Hey, and we're gonna do us, and I mean the biggest thing that you can do is support us as long as it isn't, detrimental to our health. Then let us be us, but so many people are so afraid of judgment that they're like, no, my kid can't be themselves. They need to be who I want them to be.
Mm-hmm.
And that causes many, many issues.
Yeah, for sure. And like I remember like wanting to like try all these different things, and like especially like by the time you got to high school, it was like you should already be an expert in whatever like you're doing every day, because you need to remember like you're applying for college. So if I wanted to take an art class, it wasn't just for fun, it was like to make a portfolio for college. I'm like, well, I just want to take it to see if I like it.
Yeah, I still did that even in college. I had like 3 different completely unrelated majors. IT, business with a minor in graphic design, and then psychology with a minor in integrative therapies. Oh, excuse me. Molly says, when I was younger, I hatched a baby pigeon in my bed.
Oh, she did. I know this story. This is crazy.
What was it like was it literally like in your bed, or was it like in a hatched area? It was just in the bed?
No, it was in her bed. It was like in a box in her bed. So
did people know about this?
Sort of.
Okay.
Like she grew up, she's autistic as well. Just to put that out there. So she grew up like on a farm, and her neighbor had pigeons. She's coming out. And she took the eggs and would tell her parents that she was gonna hatch these pigeons, and nothing really ever came of it, except one time she actually did hatch a pigeon.
All right, you do you.
She like put it in a box with like blankets and stuff, and it incubated the pigeon, and she just like heard the pigeon one day in the box in her bed. Went, Mom, I have a pigeon now. Yeah.
I mean, I guess the point being, even if you hatch pigeons or do whatever you do, people with Asperger's tend to deviate from norms. And that means we tend to trigger whatever anxieties you have about fitting in as a parent.
Yeah.
We'll just go straight to that and dig it up.
Yeah.
Then bury it in the yard, then a month later dig it up and come show it to you and go, look what I found. And you'd be like, where'd you get that from? That's my insecurity. And it would be like, I know, look, let's like play with it. Look, see if I press this button, things happen.
Yeah.
It can be brutal at times, but that's the main struggle of raising someone with Asperger's. They find your buttons and they like press them and go, what does this do? And you're going, no!
Yeah. I agree. I did that to my parents.
I'm sorry, Mom. But I'm also kind of not.
Yeah.
Like, I'm such a happier adult because the people that are around me like actually want to listen, right? So I've learned over the years that I kind of need to shut up about talking about my special interests all day, every day, because people don't want to hear that. But it's really weird now being an adult and having a special interest that is two things right now: cooking and Disney World with a little bit of travel mixed in there. So like when I talk about Disney World to Disney friends in public, we'll be like, okay, we should start talking about other things now because we're adults. And then people will be like, no, I want to know one more thing. How do you get on the ride without a wait? Or how do you do this? And we're like, man, it really isn't. I'm like, no, do tell me. I'm like, I guess I could keep talking about it. And if I was a young child, it would just be, oh no, now it's time to stop talking about that. Sorry, you need to be normal again.
Yeah, like so many people talk about like how it was like so much better as a kid, and like it was like terrifying being a kid where like you're experiencing everything for the first time and like no one's explaining things properly to you, and like now as an adult, like it's so much nicer. Like I know things. Like I know how to socialize, to an extent, and I know there are rules and I can choose to ignore them if I want to. Whereas a kid, it was just like, am I allowed to say any of these words that are about to come out of my mouth?
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. Like, am I using the right vocabulary? Like all that kind of stuff. And like all these feelings were so new, and like kids like cry at everything, and because they're experiencing everything for the first time, like their loss of a toy is their first experience of loss. Like that's terrifying. Like we all know what loss feels like. Like that kind of stuff like drives parents crazy. Like, why are you crying over that? It's like they've never felt that before. It's really scary. It's like as an adult, it's like, I don't have to deal with that. I know like what everything feels like, and like I've experienced most things. So if I talk to this person, I know like embarrassment's really not that bad, Like if I mess up, whatever, you can go find a new person to talk to, Where like as a kid, you're like, I don't know what's gonna happen after I introduce myself. Anything could happen.
All right, we got some comments. Rachel says, how do you respond or stick up for yourself to teachers or school social workers who try to teach you rules or social norms? Okay, so this is a really rude answer, but no longer being in school and being an adult, I act differently. But I didn't have social skills, nor did I really give a crap when I was in school. So if anyone tried to teach me rules or social norms, I would literally just laugh. I'd be like, you're funny. You're going to try and teach me things. Go away.
Well, yeah, like I didn't, at school, I didn't know that these rules, social norms existed. So it was like kind of like, oh, I didn't know people thought that way. Like I'm still learning like the way people think is ridiculous. Like I guess like double texting is not good.
But what is I'm unaware of this. What is double texting?
So it's when literally you text someone like twice in a row. Like someone has to text you first.
What? I have never heard of this, and it is not something that literally any of my friends do. Like my phone will go off like 20 times.
Yes. But but I guess there's like some people in the world who believe like if you're like double texting, then like you're like pestering someone.
I guess I just don't hang out with those people.
And I'm like, okay. And so like there's social norms
that aren't normal
that aren't norms that are only in like certain groups that are, it's like it's different everywhere. So like saying something's a norm also is just like arbitrary to like wherever you are. And
yeah. I think that's the big thing, is that a lot of people pretend like there's only one world out there, right? There is only one perspective, one way to see things, and if you don't see things my way, then you're wrong, and because there's only one way. This is where you see a lot of people going, they aren't grounded in reality. In the real world, we have to do things this way. It's like, what is this real world you speak of? I'm unaware. So, Rachel, to answer your question about how do I respond, it's like you respond logically and say, honestly, no thank you. Like, you're going to try and teach me rules and social norms, and I'm going to argue with you until... If you want to have a relationship with me, you get to have a relationship with me. You don't get to come up on high and dispense the social norms of the civilization that you think I should belong to. There's more than one. You would not do well in my social circles, nor would I do well in your social circles, and that is okay.
I remember. So like 2 or 3 years ago now, in college, I had this like major discussion with like a ton of people that like about canceling plans and how to do that properly. And like most people I found out lie, instead of saying, you know what, I'm not up to doing it right now. They like go, oh, I got sick, or oh, blah, blah, blah. Like they just lie. I'm like, I'll just text you and say, you know what, I'm not up for socializing right now. Can't hang out.
It puts people off when I do that. They're like, wait, you really mean it? I'm like, why would I be lying here? Well, because everyone else does. Well,
I didn't know like people had like such like anxiety about canceling plans. Like I thought it was like a normal thing to just be like, oh, I'm not up to it today, so sorry. Like I thought, but I guess people have to come up with major excuses, and I'm like, that's horrible, because if I found out you were lying, I'd be way more mad that you lied than you canceled plans. Like,
yeah, me too. So again, this goes back to what is a norm. I think if everyone were to like, if we made a giant spreadsheet of all of the social norms for everybody in the US, I think people would be amazingly shocked at the difference and the variation of expectations, so much so that we would look at the current political climate and go, oh, that makes sense now. Everyone has like completely different views of the world.
It's my dad.
So here, this weird Chad Carrier fellow is saying, Chloe is nothing like me. I only talk about appropriate things. All right, sir. All right. And Gail's saying, Artism is putting together a Disney trivia night and I should host it. I'm for this. Okay, with the caveat being, I don't do Disney movies. I don't know much about the Disney movie world, but we can talk about that another time. So anyway, going back to Rachel for a second here, I just don't let them. If you want, they're really trying to say, no, here's how you do it. We end up having detailed conversations around what a social norm is, and they become very uncomfortable because this is outside their pay grade, and they just want me to tell me how to say hi to people and not get into a deep philosophical discussion around the reasons why somebody would need to be greeted. So generally, then they kind of lay off.
And then after learning about the psychology of most neurotypical people, I find it's a lot easier to get them to do things. Like, I used to, because like they have such a need to fit in, and you can make really weird things actually become the norm just by doing it with confidence. And I've gotten like entire spaces of a room to like just start doing things. I'm like, most of the time on accident, just because I like start doing it. And like someone has to be the first person to do it. Like you, here's an easy example. It's like you go to like a dance and there's a dance floor. Someone has to be the first person on the dance floor, and nobody wants to be the first person on the dance floor. Me and my sibling Lillian, both autistic, we're always the first people on the dance floor at our school because we didn't understand that was a social norm. We're like, we're at a dance, you dance. Like,
why aren't they dancing? We paid to go to a dance. Let's go dance. What are we gonna do? Stand around the edge and be awkward? That's useless.
Yeah. And then our friends joined us, and then their friends joined them, and then the entire room is dancing, and then it's normal that everyone's on the dance floor. And then, okay, who's the first person to leave the dance floor? You know, who's the first person to go to the buffet? Who's the first person, blah, 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 blah. You know, and it starts becoming a whole thing in their heads. And I'm like, what? I'm hungry. I'm going to the buffet. Oh, you know, I'm tired. I'm going to go sit outside where it's quiet. You know, like,
I'm going to do me because I like to, and for no other reason than that.
Yeah.
And that, to me, I think is the big, like, win of Asperger's is we just do that, and other people get so scared and insecure about what they're doing.
Okay.
Yeah. What's the aquarium story?
So I created a new social norm at the aquarium with some friends in middle school. So my God. So my friend it was her birthday, and we went to like a bunch of different places that like were her favorite to go to. So her mom dropped us off at the aquarium, and one of our friends was waiting at the bathroom, and she was like flapping her arms like this, like a penguin. So I stood next to her and like did the same thing. And I was like, this is nice. And then our whole entire friend group started doing that. And we're like, hey, we'll just start doing this now. We started walking around the aquarium, and we kind of looked like penguins. We started walking like penguins around this aquarium. And then a couple of like the little kids were like, oh, this is a fun game, and like joined us. And then one of the employees joined us. Then we got an authority figure with us. So then it was like, oh, this is a thing that we do. And the entire room started like in a line, walking like penguins. And as people walked in, they were like, oh, everyone is doing this. Didn't think it was weird. It went, okay, this is what we do now. And got in line. And her mom walks in to pick us up and goes, oh, like she knew her daughter did this shit all the time. And was like, it's time to go, you guys. And we all stopped and like went, okay, there we go. And everyone just like froze and like looked around like, what the heck were we doing? Why were we doing this? And we just left. And at the time it was like, oh, this is fun. Looking back, I was like, oh my God, we just manipulated the entire aquarium.
Oh, life. I don't really have many stories like that because I was a very quiet, kind of shy child, hiding a lot in my room, playing video games, scheming, you know.
Yeah, I did that too. But when I got out, I did stuff like that with my 5 friends. It only took like 5 of us to do it. That's it. Little middle schoolers got an entire aquarium to do that. Still am confused how it happened, but it happened, and it doesn't seem real. But and later I learned about the psychology of that, of like that. That's what people do when they walk into a room, and they see the social norm.
What is everyone else doing? I'm going to do what everyone else is doing. I got to tell you, it is a very interesting experience going to a culture where you don't even speak the language or the alphabet. Like in the Asian culture where it's like, I literally have zero idea what this sign says, right? Like I was in Portugal last summer. I live in California. I've picked up enough Spanish, and I know Portuguese isn't Spanish, but you can kind of look at a sign and guess the general idea of what it says, right? Like, but when you're in Thailand, you're just like, this is words. Maybe more than one. That's all I got. And so because of that, the cultural norms, like all the people that you're traveling with are also like, I have no idea what to do as well. And the group I was with was from around the world. We had somebody from Kyrgyzstan, Zurich, Switzerland, a whole bunch of people from Australia, and then us in the U.S. from the U.S. all in Thailand. So we were just like, this new culture just kind of arose, and it was kind of like, well, we're going to do just what we do: eat good food, hang out, talk to each other, and it doesn't really matter that kids are being awkward or doing weird things because we're in a foreign country and we're all from around the world, and it doesn't matter. So I think that's like the blessing of Asperger's in a way,
Yeah.
that you can just do that.
Yeah, you can walk like a penguin and make it.
Yeah. I still, happily admit that I do many things from my childhood and enjoy them. And if I want to watch a Pokemon movie tonight, I'm going to, and nobody's going to stop me.
Yeah, there's this weird thing about like actor age. Like, how do you do that?
I don't know. I think that the people that say that live sad and depressing lives. I enjoy the full spectrum of humanity, from My Little Pony up to Shakespeare.
Yeah.
And everything in between. So I think, for me, that's really all I got to say. People are different.
Yeah. Embrace it.
Accept it. Yeah.
It's more fun.
And if you don't, well, then have fun dealing with all the anxiety that it generates.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just so much more fun to embrace it.
Don't dress your age. Yeah. What does that even mean? As an adult, if I want to walk around in a banana costume, I'm going to. I don't own a banana costume, but the point being that, like, what am I? Yeah, I don't even know what that. If somebody said dress your age, I'd be like, okay, let's have a conversation around what that means, because I'm really curious. Like, where is this coming from for you?
I have bananas on my pants.
I saw. Yes. Remember the show Bananas in Pajamas?
That sounds familiar, but I don't know what it is.
I just thought about it. It was weird. Anyway, now we're doing that socially awkward thing of going, are we going to end it? Are we going to keep talking? We don't know. See, we do it too. I'm not completely immune to the forces of social interaction here. I just have a resistance to it.
Yeah. And it doesn't like get to us.
Yeah. I found that the best way to find people that I'm completely comfortable being me around is to just be me regardless and drive a whole bunch of people away. And if you want to stay, then you stay. And I work on being more aware of my actions and being more conscious with the actions, because there are a lot of times I do say things I don't mean and piss people off and all that stuff. And I want to be more conscious and aware of that. But there are also times where I'm just going to do me. And if you don't like it, then go away. So.
Yeah. I mean, you could be like the best person in the world and not everyone's going to like you, and that's okay,
Yeah. I don't need everyone to like me. In my personal life, I probably need about like 10 people to like me.
It wastes a lot of energy to try to be friends with someone who just doesn't like the things you like and doesn't like you as a person.
Yep.
Like finding people who like love and support you and spending your time there.
Yep.
It's just so much nicer. And so putting your energy into the right people is important.
Yep, agreed. And with that being said, it does not look like we have any further questions. So shall we call it?
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Check out Raede and Ask for Your Experts. He does live streams sometimes, and he's got all this great stuff on his website and on Facebook. So check him out. If you haven't, go to autism.com and register for all our upcoming events. Everything's online still. So you can still do all of our services right now. Yeah, and come back next week. I do Starlight Talks every Wednesday at 7 Pacific Standard Time. Do you have any parting words?
No,
No.
don't be a dick. General good guiding advice there.
Yeah. Yeah, there is like being different, and then there is being mean. Like those are not the same thing. So, yeah. So like respect other people. So
I'm a fan of all of these things. Drink more water.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Stay colorful.